OpTic HECZ has been dominating the gaming space for the past 15 years plus, but a few years ago, he set his eyes on something else, the cannabis scene. And just like he did in gaming, he's dominating it. And in this video, I'm going to tell you about that. This is how OpTic HECZ is dominating both gaming and cannabis. Hector Rodriguez, or more known online as OpTic HECZ, is an OG member and owner of OpTic Gaming, a team of content creators and pro gamers, or more known as a gaming clan, being the first people to do this kind of thing. And in 2011, HECZ would put every dollar he had into making the first ever content creator house, which would pay off big time because people would fall in love with OpTic Gaming, and they have some of the most loyal fans out there. But they were keeping a secret from those fans, and that secret was they were smoking a shit ton of weed. And as most people know, cannabis and gaming go hand in hand, so it isn't surprising that the OpTic people were smoking weed in the OpTic house, but it isn't that simple. A big portion of their fan base were young kids, and this was 2011, a way different time than now. So the OpTic people couldn't just come out and say that they were smoking, they had kids watching. It would be bad for the brand, but they would eventually come out and talk about smoking in the OpTic house.
Should we tell them the other part about it? That's what I was planning on playing. I mean, we're pretty far removed now, but like, would it really matter?
I don't think so. No, but that's what made it so sketchy.
Are you talking about the plate?
No.
We're talking about the
can we talk about
weed.
it?
Yeah, on the plate.
Yeah, fuck it. No, so listen. Here's the thing. We had so much goddamn stinky weed.
We were high as fuck.
Oh man, we had a lot of weed in the house. Them fools were. Well, we all were. Nah, we can't talk about this.
Why not?
I've never told anybody that I used to smoke weed.
Bro, you're a grown man now.
Yeah. I know you want me to start talking about this. It's legal in California now. I actually don't smoke weed anymore, but at the time, you know, at the house, we did smoke weed. Like, we had weed in the house, and this is actually I'm so glad I get to tell this story. This is the craziest moment in my life because I have no idea how it happened.
Ultimo clutch.
I cannot make this up.
Was it you that put it back in the drawer?
Hold on, let him
I cannot make this up. So, like, even when we were doing the Grand Theft Auto stream, anytime that you guys would see us go off camera, for the streamer that was playing at that moment, they were going into the kitchen to rip the bowl and just, you know,
like 10 feet away from
just 10 feet away, get blazed a little bit, and then come back and keep playing. Yeah. But our house at that time, we didn't have maids or anything, or we had maids that would come like every 3 weeks. And the house was filthy. It was disgusting. And in the kitchen especially, it was just like 3 grinders, a bong, 2 bowls, residue everywhere. It was terrible. And at that moment, I don't know what compelled me to do it, but I think I just got so grossed out by the fact that we had weed everywhere and it just wasn't a good look. Mm-hmm. I cleaned off all the counter. I pushed all the weed to the side, put it in my hand, threw it out, all the shake, put the bags, the bowls, the grinders in cabinets and in drawers. And I told Cap, all right, I'm going to bed. But if you smoke again, make sure that you put it away. And I still to this day don't know what compelled me to be as compulsive I was about it, but that's the night that we got swatted.
Now, fast forward 10 years from that story, HECZ has lost control over OpTic Gaming and regained it, re-establishing the brand he lost in 2018. But after all that, HECZ had his eyes set on something different, the cannabis community. And just like gaming, he dominated it. But all this would be a surprise to the gaming community. No one knew that HECZ had such a passion for cannabis, but HECZ has always been into cannabis, saying that the first time he tried it was after high school, where he fell in love with it. Seeing the benefits it brought to him and other people, HECZ always knew at some point he wanted to get into the business, and he would do just that in 2021. Announcing Pine Park, a gamer-owned cannabis brand, and he would get longtime grower Jason Morgan to be the main grower for Pine Park's product. And the gaming community would love it. There's even a joke in the gaming space: if you're acting odd or acting strange, people will say, oh, he's off the Pine Park. So it's fair to say Hex had the backing from the gaming space, but he knew he had to do more if he wanted the backing from the cannabis community. So the first thing he would do is get in contact with one of the biggest cannabis YouTubers on the platform, Eric Kahn, which would lead to Hex starting the Pine Park YouTube channel, and Eric Kahn would be the first guest on the YouTube channel. And doing this would bring the cannabis community over to Pine Park. After seeing how well the Eric Kahn episode did, Hex knew he needed to capitalize on it. So he made the Pine Park show. With Eric Kahn and Tim Brown being the host of the show, it would do extremely well in the cannabis community, boosting the popularity of Pine Park even further. Now, after getting the trust of the cannabis community, it was time to expand. The first big thing Hex would do is make Pine Park available for fans in Oklahoma, and they would do a fan meetup with Eric and Tim, which helped the launch of Pine Park in Oklahoma. And this would be really good for Hex, because Oklahoma is only a couple hour drive from Hex's home in Texas. But he wouldn't stop there, because in the same year, they would also introduce Pine Park to Michigan. And just like the Oklahoma drop, they did a fan meetup which would help a lot with the launch of it. And at the same time they were doing all of this, they were still uploading bangers to the Pine Park YouTube channel. And as of recently, they added a new member to the show, Goblin, a fan favorite guest with connections to both gaming and cannabis. It was a no-brainer to add him to the show. It's fair to say Hex is not only dominating the business side of cannabis, but the social media aspect of it, which is a really big part of a cannabis brand doing well. And Hex has excelled with making people a fan of Pine Park.
She said I could have it. 2016, little bitch, I'm a savage. Johnny Depp sue a bitch, make all the baggage. Then I feel like I'm a fucking bandit. RIP, just walk got perks in the cabinet. Sold them off on my session.